Good morning, class. I hope you all doing well today. I'm very excited to start a new topic in geography. It's something interesting, something that we experience in our everyday life. So whether we live in a small village or town or a big city, today we are going to dive into the study of settlement. Okay, we are going to dive into the study of settlement. Okay, so we're going to learn how and why people choose to live a way they do, and how our surrounding shapes our life. And now, before we begin, let's quickly think back to what we learned in grade 11. Remember when we analyzed the aerial photographs and the topographic maps, you learned to identify features like roads, rivers, and buildings. And then let's take quick look into two images. Okay, so I'm providing the two images, which are aerial photographs and topographical map, and then you see the difference. This is something we learned in grade 11. I just want to recap, to check the difference between the aerial photograph and the topographical map. So, and then what do you notice about those two maps? What do you notice about those two maps? Okay, that's right. So one is tightly packed into buildings, and then the other one shows the open land with scattered downs. This is a great example of a different settlement type, which is exactly what we are going to explore today. At this point, we know that into settlement we have the, the rural settlement and urban settlement. The rural settlement is where most of us live. Might be in the rural areas. In most cases, it's found in the villages. And urban settlement is a settlement where it's in the cities and townships. And then we spoke about the one settlement is tightly packed buildings. When settlement is tightly packed into buildings, we say it's nucleated. Okay? So, and then secondly, when the houses that are scattered apart, we say it's dispersed. So we are going to check an outcomes of this lesson. What are we supposed to know at the end of this lesson? So number one, after this lesson, we must be able to define what is settlement. Okay, and then secondly, we must be able to identify the different types of settlement. And then we need to understand the factors that influence where people live, like water, air, soil, roads, and services. We must be able to interpret the real example of using maps and photos. Before we go further, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why people live in remote rural areas, far away from everything, while others live in the crowded cities. What could that be an influence of choice? Imagine starting a community from scratch. What would you look for? Water, roads, flood, and land. That's the question. What's important whenever you want to start a community? That's what we're going to explore. The reason behind the settlement location is the patterns that forms as a result. All right, because now that we're connected to this topic, you have already know and know about a wide settlement from the same they do. Let's get into the first part of our lesson. We'll begin by defining different types of rural settlement, and then we'll look at the real world using examples. Okay, so the rural settlement, like it found at the outermost part of the city. It's being governed by chiefs in most cases. The land it's not that expensive. The urban areas, like it's a place it found in cities, in towns. The land it's very expensive. Yeah, I think that's all for today's lesson. Thank you.